Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen here with Keith Gibbons, and today is November 12th, 2022, and we're here to talk about the election. The election happened on November 8th, on Tuesday,
Tuesday. Yep.
and was a long day, I
It
think,
was very
for
long, yeah.
up at 5, or no, I was up at 5. I was at the polls at 5:45 to be a challenger. Never been a challenger before, so it was a new experience, an awkward experience. Kind of walk in with your little sticker on, and like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm challenging.
I have no idea what that means.
And then I don't really know what all that means, but I read a little sheet of paper on the way here, so I'm expert now. So did met some folks at the polls over at I started out at the Gloucester Township, or the recreation center over in Ariel, the little rec center over there, or community center. I think that's what that's called.
In Gloucester Township, there are 40 districts?
40 different
total.
districts.
40 different districts. Some of the different locations, though, that you go vote are combined. So you might have 2 locations, 3 locations, 4 locations, 4 districts, I should say.
Yeah.
At each one of those locations. So the rec center, for instance, is one of the bigger ones, which has, I believe, 4 districts all vote at that.
The rec center
there.
over at by Cherrywood, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I started out at the Ariel Community Center. That was, I believe, that's District 20, and
Yeah,
I forget what it was now already. But a little bit of issues there. I think starting off, they had some printer issues. Got started. I think it's 6:30 instead of 6:00. But
it's amazing how it's always a surprise, like as if election day wasn't on the calendar or they're not ready. I don't know how that happens, but
yeah, it was a tough spot too, because I'm sitting back and I'm watching, and my day job is IT, so I've done everything from phones to servers to clouds, and I do it all, and I'm watching them and I'm thinking, I don't know as a challenger if I can get involved. I don't want to break any kind of protocol. I'm going to sit in the chair here and just watch them suffer, because I didn't want to, I didn't want to break any rules. But then from there, I basically went out and handed out, got rid of the old challenger thing.
yeah, I've never been in a location in a while, because it's I used to vote by mail, so I don't know what goes on inside. But I had iPads I saw this time when I went in, with people's names on it, where it used to just be, get the piece of paper that had your name, went and voted. And to me, it was always like, I don't understand how there's problems with voting machines. Like, it's literally in 2022, it's like the dumbest piece of equipment in the room, at any given room that they're in, because a phone is smarter than that, that voting machine. It literally pushes a button and tallies votes.
Yes,
I mean, it's like Pong.
Your check-in
basically.
was an iPad, and you give them your last name, put your last name in, and it starts bringing up names, and then you tell them your first name is, and then they'll repeat back your home address.
Right.
You tell them if that's good, they hit it, the little printer pops out. It was a Bluetooth printer, so that's where the issue was. It had some Bluetooth issues. But
I'm pretty sure Bluetooth has been mastered, though. I mean, again, we're in 2022. It shouldn't be that big of an issue to have problems like that with a printer.
But nice folks over at the first poll there. But and then you go from there to the old push button machine,
right?
Where you push a couple things, it lights up, and then you hit the
Submit.
enter button. Not complicated.
No.
When I lived in PA, it was the little circle, scratch the little circles, like the old Scantron things from school, and then you slide them into a little secretive thing, and you put them in a machine. That's how we did it in Pennsylvania. So a bit high tech here in Jersey with all push button jobs.
Yeah.
So
because of the X on it.
Yeah. But it was a good. I think I was out from 6 a.m. to about 8:30 p.m.
Yeah. Well, so I was running for school board this year, and one of the things that you do is you go out into the parking lots and you talk to people that are showing up. And for school board, a lot of people, they're not prepared to vote for that. It's really hard to get your message out to reach everyone in a township the size that that we are, especially how do you let people know who you are, why you're running, and that kind of thing. So that's an important part of of that thing. If you're running for governor or president or something like that, obviously people that are showing up at the polls know who they're voting for, so it's not as important. So for me, it was an important day of part of my getting my message out. And I was making my rounds, stopping, talking to people, had people that were behind me, supported me, and knew my message and were helping spread that at the locations, trying to get people out there. And along with that, there's rules along with what you can do at the polls. No one wants to go be harassed, or anything like that. So it's, you have to be 100 feet away from the location. Not every location is conducive of being able to go meet people. They might pull right up at not Aerial Firehouse. What's it called? Glendora Firehouse. You can't be anywhere near somebody that pulled up, parked, and went inside to vote. You have to wave to them from down the street. Yeah. Hey, come see me. I have something to tell you.
Yeah, the little community center over at Aerial. You walk out the door and you've got only probably 5 feet from there to the little driveway, and the parking lots are on both sides in the back. So if you're in the parking lot and everybody comes and parks on the other side, then you gotta run around. Yeah. But then if you pass them in that 100 feet, you can't talk to them. Right. You got to wait till you get all the way back around, and then
it's a little goofy the way that it works, but it was one of the things I did during during the day that day. I know, Joe, you also were doing it. I had several people giving me a hand and getting my message out, and it was a very long day, windy. It was not cold. It was hot. It was sunny.
Somehow people had windburn. Sunned or windburn. Yeah. I don't know what I went. But at the end of the night, I was red. Yeah. So
the one lady helping me, I had to literally put rocks in her pocket so she didn't blow away. It was so windy. She had to hide between cars to not blow away.
Yeah, it was. And I think 2 days before it was 74 or something like that. So yeah, 47 was 47 at 8 a.m. and then it was 47 at 8 p.m. So not the greatest day to be outside doing it.
Well, it's better than last time with rain and whatnot out there.
A lot less interesting people this year than it was last year. Last year there were just some crazy people asking some crazy questions that had nothing to do with the positions that were up. Right. This year, we had a couple candidates that. That I feel it's kind of what it's about. If you feel a certain way about a couple candidates or a particular candidate and you want to support them, you can go out there and volunteer. That's what I did after I was done. Right. After I was done challenging, got rid of the badge, went to a different location, and handed that stuff out. And it is funny. People know why you're there. They pull up. Yeah. Some of them will come right for you. Mm-hmm. It's rare. Some of them will climb over a building to get away from you, run in traffic, whatever they have to do to get away from you. Some people are outright rude. You get that little hand block. Yep.
I mean, you feel like a panhandler, at the bottom of a ramp of,
it is
the bridge. It's people they either very receptive to you, they give you $1, or they kind of just look straight ahead as if they didn't even see that you were there, or they go around and take a different ramp because they don't want to run into you. It's
a day full of ups and downs. Yeah, because it is. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning that morning, and I started thinking about it, and I couldn't fall asleep because I absolutely dreaded going out there and doing it. But it was kind of once you get into the motion, you get a couple hours in, and you're like, look, I can talk to anybody at this point. Right. Yeah. Even the people that are beat it, pal. I'm like, wait a minute, get back here. You can start talking to them, have a conversation, you joke around a little bit. It winds up at the end of the night. You can talk to anybody that comes up. So it's it is something that I would say, if you like a candidate ever in the future,
go support them.
Volunteer. Volunteer. Go out, little hand cards, hand them out if that's your thing. A lot of people didn't know, even last year. When I ran last year, nobody knew who I was. This year, some people didn't know who some of the school board candidates were. Yeah. So they would ask questions, and I answered what I could, what I knew. I interviewed them. I interviewed 3 of them, so I was able to answer questions about.
Yeah, you're probably more well equipped than anyone else to answer those because you sat through those.
Yeah, some people were like, I don't know, this guy gave me cards. He needs votes. I was able to answer what I knew about them. People would ask some specific questions, and I'd say, look, I don't know. I know they lean this way on this, and that's as far as I can come to an opinion. So,
yeah,
it was a little bit easy though, I think, to find information on people, on half of them at least.
Yeah,
and I think that's something too that I've always wanted to touch on was even at school board, even council. Nobody knows council people either. But if you Google it, like if I Google Keith Gibbons Gloucester Township, the very first result is the patch.
Right.
It's the last patch article that you did, and then any other candidate that did a patch article. Like I went through, of course I went through all the candidates at some point. I Googled them to find out what they were all about.
Yeah, well, that's how we found a bunch of information we put out before and say, oh, well, this guy was here or this girl was here doing this in the past, and it's right on Google.
You could find out a lot you could find out almost everybody you need to vote for, including some other positions, in about an hour of Googling. It's an entire year. The people campaign, basically. And you can find in about an hour enough information to give you, like search for you, or Jen, or Dina. Like they came up in the results because I did interviews with them. So the YouTube results came up. It is, and I met some great people in the parking lot that when I talked to them, they were like, I got my people. And then they would tell me. And I was like, oh, okay. And they knew, like, they knew information about him.
Right.
Like, a gentleman brought his wife back up, and he was voting for one of the other candidates, but he knew a ton about him. And I was just so impressed. I mean, it wasn't one of the candidates that we ever got to talk to here, but the fact that the guy knew.
They know, that's great. They did research.
The guy did the research, and I don't know, he wasn't, I didn't even care that he wasn't voting for somebody that I thought was a good choice. What I cared was that guy looked it up and he had the info, and I loved that, man. I did. I love the fact that people I love the fact that people come out and vote. I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, anything else to cover from
election day
out in the field?
No.
No.
Not that I. I'm still recovering.
So let's take a look at some of the results here for Camden County first. Well, for at least
yes, it wasn't a very exciting election. There wasn't any.
It wasn't
a governor or president. It was just a.
Yeah, so we had. So your first results here, was the House First District, and I mean, I don't know how many of the listeners know who the folks on there are, but if you've ever seen, we actually just did a short brief podcast earlier about political machines.
Yep.
And a lot of people would say that the head of our political machine here is Donald Norcross.
Right.
So he's got a large chunk of this area. It's not just Camden County. It's a pretty spread. That district is spread.
It's strong in Camden County though.
But he's very strong in Camden County. Now Donald went up against Claire Gustafson. She was the Republican.
No, Donald, his brother.
Donald, yes.
We were talking about George.
Well, George is like he's like the kingpin. Yeah. Donald's the political wing of that.
Right.
But Donald's been around for a long time now, and so Donald went up against Claire. Donald almost doubled.
Claire Gustafson,
or more than doubled actually. Claire's count on that one. So
it's kind of far away from it. It's like 50,000 or more votes.
Yeah, Donald got 93,000. Claire got 43,000. So, and then the next thing that we had was the Board of County Commissioners. There were two of them up there, and the Democrats that were there, they won.
So it was 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans on the Board of Commissioners that were running?
Correct.
Okay. And it looks, again, like they're about 40-ish, 50,000 votes off each.
Yeah, so not a good showing for the Republicans here. I don't know anything about the 2 Democrats that are on the county commissioners. I know that I've emailed the commissioners before about some different things I had questions about, and I know I got 0 response. So I've
That seems about par for the course. With
I've
any
emailed,
kinda-
county clerk, commissioners, zero response. So it's I don't know. I kind of wanted a little bit more from them, and I thought, you know what, if they go away, it's not that bad of it. It's
not a big loss.
It's not a big loss if they go away. So
I don't even know what I lost.
So the next, really the only other thing that was left on here was Board of Education,
Right.
and
That was me.
yeah, we should.
I ran.
I wish I had. Yeah, I should have popped confetti, champagne, or something like that. But well, we did interviews with Jen O'Donnell, Keith Gibbons, and Dina Hendry. Two of them. Jen O'Donnell blew it away with 66.
I think people
votes.
knew that, or we knew that going in ahead of time. The what's it called? The position of the ballot doesn't matter for her, as far as where she is from what other people had said. They'll find her anywhere on the ballot, which ended up being, true. She had a random. I don't think she was.
I did
seven
see
or
another
something.
candidate that didn't win complain about his position on the ballot.
That
and
that did happen.
that was the reason. And I thought, well, man, Jen was kind of down there too. So that guy just was unlikable, I guess. But Mr. Keith Gibbons got second place, 57, almost 5,800 votes, just about 5,800 votes.
Yeah.
So that is man, that's amazing. And your third person to win was Nancy Fritz.
Terry Fritz. People thought it was.
Every people
literally came out and were saying, "I voted for you." Or she's like, "I wasn't running. I'm not." And her son, people at work were saying, "Yeah, I voted for your mom this morning." And she's like, her son was like, "My mom wasn't running. My name has an E in it, not an I."
So one of the glossy flyer machine people got in because her name was close to somebody that everybody trusts.
Yeah.
When it comes to school, but
those are the top three. There, we had Dina Hendry came in fourth with a great showing.
I did for a first time to get 4,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, she got more votes than I did last year in a bigger election. So congratulations to Dina. That is, it was the first time, and her little signs that could.
Yeah.
That was it was a great first showing for her too.
Yeah.
What we wound up with is we wound up with, we've got enough people now on the school board to make a difference. So, in previous years, it was basically, we had some good people in there, but the majority went to the machine.
Right.
And we flipped that now. So now the majority is back on the people, just the regular people, the people that were involved in education before, along with parents. Nobody's connected to anything. I mean, I think you guys have all pretty much know each other now. I know, like, Linda, you guys know Ellen too, I guess.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I know.
So it's great.
Now that I am elected, I'm not sure what I'm able to say, but I know that Jen said before that anything that I'm saying here is my own opinion and not that of the board. I don't know that I need to preference something with that right now, but
I will get I'll get a thing that scrolls over your head from now on.
Yeah,
that says that
his opinion,
so that it covers that automatically. But look, this is.
It was a very monumental, day in Gloucester Township.
I feel great about your win. The comment that you made about telling your daughter and stuff like that, I thought was like, I don't know, that hit, like, it really hit. I was like, man, it's a proud moment.
I think what you're saying was, like somebody said, congratulations or something along those lines, and I said, I'm the most happy to tell my daughter tomorrow morning because it was late at night, that Daddy won. And,
that was.
It was a.
That was a moment.
It's a good moment to be able to, show your kid, if you think something, stand up, try, and you can do, anything if that you want. I thought it was a big accomplishment as far as I've become the president of the United States or something like that, but I believed that there was something that needed to be done, and I took action and did it. And it wasn't for me personally; it was for everyone. It wasn't because it just somebody needed to to stand up and do it. There were 3 open seats, so there was 3 people running. It's not. I'm not taking all the credit for anything like that. I'm just saying I did it for everybody else. You know what I mean? And that's what
Yeah.
the message I'm trying to continue to let other people know that are like, wow, oh my God. I heard so many people message me and stuff like, you know how many people I voted for in the past that just didn't even make it? And I can't believe I actually backed, a winning horse, basically. That like somebody broke through the barrier in Gloucester Township to actually, win recently. And it was, encouraging to get those messages, like that. And I feel like it should tell other people they can too, or we all can. It's not a one person can. It's a weekend message. It's if it's done, about the community, for the community. That's what people will get behind.
It's a cool thing too, because I mean, you bought signs and a couple little cards, and they spent $40,000.
I went to the Pumpkin Festival though. I mean, how many people I talked to at that thing at.
Yeah.
Where were they? They won't even answer a Facebook message on or anything. But
they went money against just being real.
Right.
And it's it's amazing. There's so many people in comments over the last year say it doesn't even matter. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to win over and over again. Well, now they have the majority on the Board of Education, so. Yeah. We can continue that.
The people that have been on there fighting for it actually have a chance to fight and win the fight. It's not. It's a losing battle when you're going up there knowing you don't have the votes. You vote no on things that you don't agree with, and it just pushes through because you don't have the numbers. And now the numbers are, not in the favor. And it's not that they vote against every single thing. Again, they don't do everything.
No,
it's when things come up, like we were, if you reference back to that, the political machine video, that we put out there, there's things that can be done differently.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times it's about the perception around it too. So people can kind of rest easy now knowing that the decisions that are being made for the right reasons. To where before, you didn't really know. I mean, decisions were being made, and you could look at them and think, well, okay, that's probably not horrible, but I don't know why they made that decision. But now you know. Yeah. Now you've got at least a better feeling of, I know the people that are making the decisions are making them because it's
being overseen. It's it's like having a babysitter at home. Like I know the kids are okay when they're at home.
Yeah.
And you can go out and have your your night out or whatever. In this case here. All right, maybe I don't need to attend every meeting. It's being handled, and that's what it's all about: is being comfortable with who's in. This isn't everybody's everyday life. I can't stand it. I can't stand paying attention to any of this stuff, but I still do. There's other people that just completely bury their head in the sand and don't pay attention to any of it, and others that just know, okay, I voted this party, and whatever they do, they do. But I know I did what I'm supposed to do by voting this party.
Yeah, the politics side of things are they will wear you out, man. And it's a lot of times it's easy just to think, okay, I can go column 1 or column 2, and I'm gonna hit this one because I think they're gonna do a good job for me. I don't know. I've always been, you talked about the person that says that they always vote for losers. That's always been me. I've always voted for losers because. I've always been an independent guy too. So
right.
I'm not a big one party, the other kind of guy, and I generally do a lot of research.
Yeah.
And then I'll pick somebody that I know nobody else is going to pick, but I know, man, that's the person that makes the change.
Yeah.
So in this situation, it's cool because I picked 2 people that I knew were right. Well, I picked 3 people that I knew were good for it. 2 of them won.
Right.
So I'm thrilled about it, and I think after last year's devastating loss, this is this is a light of hope here, is what it is.
Yeah.
2023, basically the day after your election, the thought was, all right, now what do we do for 23? Because people are paying attention. They're starting to come around and realize what's going on.
Well, I think it gives people hope that they realize, hey,
they're not powerless. Yeah,
you can actually make the difference by going out and voting.
Yeah, you can chip away at
I don't know these numbers. You probably know these because you pay a lot more attention. But what was the turnout this election versus last election when there was was a governor and mayor on?
Yeah, we had governor.
So it's governor, mayor, and
mayor.
council seats versus, which are all more important than not more important.
We had about.
You would think draw more people, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So Gloucester Township, about 50,000 voters.
Okay.
Last year, with the governor and with the mayor,
right,
and then 3 council seats, we had about 20,000 voters come out. This year, about 15,000 voters. So
it's 5,000 less.
We thought it was going to be less.
Okay.
But it's still not. I don't know. I see 50,000 voters, and I think, what makes me happy? 45,000 voters.
Yeah.
15,000 voters. I'm just, come on, man. Just, I don't know.
It's very easy. I mean, the mail-in ballots make it so much easier nowadays to do that the way that it shows up at your doorstep. You can fill out, put it right back in the mail, and it's done.
Names are there. You put the names down next to the laptop. You bring the laptop up and you look and an hour Google.
Right.
Really.
You don't even leave your house.
You should probably base it a little bit more than an hour research. But look,
yeah.
If you just I don't know, staying home and not. They're spending your money. They're spending your money. They're changing your schools. I don't know. They're building parks. If you like parks, you vote for the guy who likes building parks. If you don't like parks, vote for the guy who doesn't like building parks. There's always something there. If your roads have potholes,
yeah,
vote for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always something there that you can go and vote for. Chances are, every single one of those 50,000 people has complained about something.
Oh, absolutely.
And they have something that
that
matters
day. They complained about something that day, I bet you.
Yes.
On election day.
And they just had to.
Today's the day I could actually go and put my voice and make it be heard with a vote.
Yeah, so let's talk about 23. 23,
yep.
4 council seats. We've got the new woman, Troxel. She's going to be up for re-election because she filled a seat. Orlando Mercado, council president, up for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Mignon, up for re-election. And Andrea Stubbs, the absent lady, up for re-election.
Yeah.
So 4 people up for re-election. There's 7 people on council.
That's majority, right?
4 people is it's a shift.
Mm-hmm.
So 2023, we take the same energy. We got to put it into 23. But we need to be bigger because they're going to come out stronger for council. Council they always play bigger when it comes to council.
Yeah,
not as quite as big as when they do when the mayor's out there, but they're going to be bigger next year. So the little showing that we had here for Board of Education, now the parents, I would argue, are probably a little more passionate than the people that are voting for council. So I don't know. It could be bigger. It may not be bigger, but we've got to think about 23. And I know we just got over this, but we need to find 4 people. And then we've got to figure out a way to support those people over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Now you think about what happened last year. Last year, the Restore people, we started our campaign in 2020 for 2021. And then the Republicans came out in 2021 and they started their campaign. So we wound up with 3 different groups fighting for the same position.
Yeah.
That's not happening this year. Right after.
I think people learned their lesson to a degree.
We all did. And coincidentally, we all wound up after the election. Everybody went to Skeeters.
I think everybody realized we have the same goal. We just fought against each other for the same goal. And that's,
We do. You look at Sam and Joe ran for mayor last year. Basically, their goal, once they became mayor, it's the same.
It's
It was the same. They all wanted the same responsibility, the same transparency. The people that were running for council, we all wanted the same thing.
yeah.
And it's funny because my team we were from 3 different political parties. We all had the same goal as far as municipal. Maybe not nationally, but it doesn't matter nationally. We all have the same goal. We all have the same goal. So, last year when it was all over, we said we've got to make sure this doesn't happen again. And from that moment, I think from a few weeks after the election, we started talking to them and saying, what can we do now so that we have a combined effort? So, and our hopeful outcome was that what just happened with you. Everybody came together. There was no differences. They knew what they found a guy that they wanted, that they respected, and they trusted with their schools, and they elected him.
Right.
Same thing with Jen.
Well, I mean, and that's where I think some of the stuff with okay, Joe D'Amico and Sam Sweet wanted to run against each other for the mayor position. So the optics from the public to see each of them going after each other, going after the mayor, whatever, was the race about them or was it about the people? Because the change that we want to make is about the people. In order to get people behind them, I would imagine they'd want to change things for the public. So maybe that message or that can kind of go into whoever the team is that you guys are putting together for the council and all, for race there. That these people, what they're going to change, and here's what they want to change, and here's why they're doing it. It's for you, and we're not competing with each other because it's not a person getting up there. It's the person getting up there because of the message or not the message, but the results that we're looking to get. We're stepping up to be the ones to make the change for you guys in that race that's coming up.
Yeah. So
Does that make sense?
So what happened? What became of that is a combined effort on, So
right. So now those I'm going to beat him, and that's been put aside now. Now we're all together.
It's all put aside. In fact, at the end of this election, most of all those people that ran and ran against each other last year, there was a big after party at Valari's,
right?
And almost everybody that was involved in the previous
was sitting there together.
Everybody was sitting there together. There was from multiple different political parties, different political ideas, but we all had one common goal. And that was we just wanted a better. We just wanted our town back. Is what we wanted.
Yeah.
And it's just people. And
I think the other thing that you had mentioned earlier, and I think is a good point, not during this broadcast, but the there's not a whole slew of people when people say like, oh, the Republicans in town. What have they done? Or there's not a party behind. There's not a lot of people. It's just
true.
There's not a magic man behind the curtains. It's literally you're now part of the whole movement. To help the opposition.
So that was part of that was part of the thing when I talked to. We criticized the Republicans in 2021 because we said, where's all the Republicans been? What have you guys been doing? And then
come to find out they didn't exist. That's why
when I talked to them, I was like, "Well, look, we're going to work together. I want to be a part of this, and we're going to do this all. We're going to do this all as one big group." Mm-hmm. And I expected to be led to the castle and look behind the curtain and find out all the magic behind there. And it's a couple people that are basically volunteering that are
right, like I can't even be here to meet you. I'm sorry, I gotta go.
When you talk about the Republicans, we don't have a Republican club. We decided this year, and full disclosure, I wasn't even a Republican last year, but I wanted to work with these guys and I wanted to make sure that we put something together as a community.
Right. Well, so you saw that there was what you were criticizing. You saw didn't even exist. So then now you're helping become that to help them so that they don't have the same mistakes again last time.
Yeah, I was like, these Republicans don't do anything, and that's because there was no big organization.
There was
behind
none
the
to
whole
do
thing.
anything.
There was no big man behind the curtain. So
Yeah.
I just, and it became, some of the guys, Joe and Ray, that I ran against last year, they become good friends of mine now, and we want to all work together and find some good people for 2023.
Yeah.
So we sat and we talked, and what we want to do, we'd like to have candidates by the new year. We've gotten some resumes from people that are interested. I want a lot. I want a lot of resumes. I want to talk to a lot of people. I want the end result to be
choices instead of just
yes, because when candidates are whoever it is that's going to run, when they come out in January, February of next year, I want the people to look at them and not have a bad opinion of them. So,
well, you can't control people's opinions of something.
yeah, but I want this to be for people that the people chose.
I gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't.
You had a say in it. Is basically what you're saying. Is
everybody
right.
should have a say in it. And there's a small committee of people now together that want to find the best candidates, but we can't find the best candidates if the people don't come out and say, look, I want to be the candidate. So that's what we need.
Well, first, there's a public outreach for it. This is a public way of saying, if you want to be a candidate to run, come out. But that didn't even happen last year. It was just behind closed doors. They found a couple of people.
We could throw 4 people right now on a ballot. Mm-hmm. It's not what I want to do.
Right.
That's not what anybody else wants to do. They want the absolute 4 best people. Then the best, not the best people too, but the most likable people too. Like I want everybody. This can't be a thing where in February 4 people come out and they go on the ballot and immediately everybody says, I don't like Republicans. Well, you know what? There's, like I said,
welcome to Gloucester Township.
There's no man behind the curtain, right?
Yep.
These are going to be 4 people that we picked that just happened to, look, column 2 got last year, I was an independent. So, the independents got basically on average 2,500 votes. The Republicans, over 7,000 votes. Automatic. They didn't knock on 7,000 doors. People go there. They don't like Democrats, they vote column 2. They don't like column 2, they vote column 1. It's you got to pick. You got to pick one of the two. As much of an independent guy as I am, I saw what it looks like, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to unify as an opposition. So it's the way to go. I hope everybody gets behind this because we can do the same thing that we just did, and we can keep going. And it's not the most important thing for this is this coming race, and every race after this too. It's not Democrats versus Republicans.
Well, on a local level like this,
I
challenged somebody the other day. So, what does voting one way or the other on a national stage have anything to do with local levels? What are the things that they're voting on? Spending money with an engineer firm, or to rebuild a bridge that goes over a creek? They're not. That's not a partisan decision. Like that. There's nothing.
It's
one way or the other about it, and that's where when you're saying putting likable people up, my personal opinion still is not just likable. It's people that have the best interests of people that are in town to fix those things and stop wasting the money that they waste, and making it about the people, not about party. And that's where that whole it's look at what they're actually voting on locally. Why are you worried if they're a Democrat or a Republican? It should make no difference whatsoever. And our town used to be I don't know what that's
your mayor
exactly
and council
called.
Were nonpartisan.
Yeah, it was
until
not
2009.
You didn't even have to say what you were. It was it was just, are you the mayor, the best person for the job? And that was it. And I still think that should be something that's run on too, to change that back to be something like that, because that's what it is about. It's about the person doing the best for the town, not a party. And it's
now the machine. In machines are built. Political machines are built to survive. So the machine knew.
Well, of course they know.
You
That's
build
why
it-
it's that way.
you
That's
don't-
why I would say to put it back. Because I'm the exact opposite of
You
what they
don't
want.
come into a town that is mostly Democrat and build a political machine as Republican.
Right.
So the safe place to put your political machine is on the Democrat side.
Right.
So, but the important takeaway here is this isn't the Democrats are bad. The machine is hiding within the Democrat Party.
Right.
Because that's the safe way to do.
Exactly.
So before the town erupts into another partisan battle next year on red versus blue, which irritated me last year, it's not about that. It's about the people versus the machine.
Right.
So I don't know. Got off on a tangent here.
Yeah.
If you are interested in next year, so people that ran last year, I talked to most of them still, and every one of them still, the majority of them will all be more than helpful to kind of coach you through the entire process. What paperwork you need to fill out, and they'll get signatures. They'll help you with your signatures, answer questions that you have.
Yeah, I'm
This
sure there's
is-
some understanding that they need to be aware of what's involved and whatnot that you can go over with them and all.
It is too. It is time consuming.
Yeah.
My summer of 2021 was door knocking. It was knocking on doors. It was talking to people, which is probably not the best use of time. It was probably better spent, door hangers and
Yeah.
dropping a hanger, and then having events where people can come out and meet. But we were four people that had basically no money. We just did it. We did all the legwork because it was free.
Yeah.
The mailers are going to come with
Glossy, yeah.
glossy. You'll have hate mail come. Your neighbors will get mail saying that you're some kind of you're leading the charge against poor people and
Wavy. Hey, racist! How are you?
that too.
Yeah.
So you've got it.
Just
You've
wave
got it.
back to them. Hi.
You gotta have thick skin, and you gotta kind of be. Well, you gotta have. You can't be somebody that they can
An easy target.
easily Google and go, I got a lot of stuff on this guy.
Oh, jackpot.
Like, if you're a guy with a podcast who says dumb stuff,
Yeah.
probably not a great candidate. But yeah. So look, if you're interested, I will get this information to all the people that I know that want to help. Email me, joe@restoregt.com, and yeah, let's talk. Also starting in January of 22, we put together this little club. They called it the Republican Club. It's like it's called the Republican Club. It's like a non-political. Come out to Valaris. We're out there for a couple hours. We'll talk about different things going on. It's basically
It's just a group of people, but they can't not use the word Republican because some of them just love.
some of them are some of
Republican.
them are just.
But overall, everybody is from all over, the spectrum of political beliefs and everything, and we all have the ultimate goal.
I bet it's a 50-50 split. The people that show up.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know. Look, we're trying to build some kind of small community of just regular people that don't have any other motives other than they just kind of want things.
Yeah, just want to help the people.
They just want to help. So that's the message. I mean, if you are looking to run, joe@restoregt.com, email me. If you want, I'll pass a resume on to. We're gonna put together a group of people that I think will
Yeah, hopefully
ask some
everybody has
questions
to
and
say in
review
it.
some people.
Yeah.
We've got a few already. I want a lot. I want a lot. So I want to make people happy is what I want to do.
So you're saying even if you have the slightest bit of interest, just reach out and say, "Hey, throw my name in the ring. Let's talk."
That's what happened last year with Dawn that was on my campaign. She just reached out and was like, what's all involved. And then we got talking, and then she wound up being a fantastic candidate. So it was a small little Facebook chat that turned into she was a great person to run with too. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that pretty much covers the election this year.
Recap there.
Looking forward to next year. I mean, I'm looking forward to all the work that's going to be involved in it all, but it's I'm looking forward to taking the momentum, and I hope things don't go flat. I hope we continue this momentum, and I hope if somebody's watching and they're like, you know what, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Do it, absolutely do it.
Absolutely do it. Yep.
So
I did it. You can do it too.
He
if
did
this
it.
guy here can do it, you can do it.
He did it. Yeah. So, another big topic on here is the warehouses. So on election day.
Well, before you do that,
right? Oh no.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Visit us at restoregt.com. There's not only videos at restoregt.com. There's a little bit of articles, and there's a ton of links too for so all your council meetings. There's a calendar there in the upper left-hand corner. Yeah. There is a calendar there that will show you when all the council meetings are. Somebody just emailed me that day asking me about when all the Board of Education meetings are.
Yeah, I'm going
to put those on the calendars too, so that you know when all the meetings in the township are. It's tough to find on our township calendar. So
yeah,
I will put them all on there. At Restore GT on Twitter, Restore Gloucester Township on Facebook. And then sometimes I ramble on like nextdoor.com too with some links too. So
yeah,
look for us on there.
But so the warehouse.
So a surprise meeting happened on election day, and somebody from the Restore side put out a little meme that they were trying to suppress votes, and I thought, you know what, that is kind of a look. If you work till 5, and then you get done. You want to vote, unless you're in Gloucester Township. These people don't vote, but you want to run to the polls and you want to vote.
Yeah.
And then you got, if you got to run to Ariel to vote, and then you got a meeting at 6:00 over at the municipal building. Yeah. I don't know. It was a bad time. Everybody thought it was shady.
Yeah, the whole thing was just really odd. There's a group of people that are completely against this warehouse on the Freeway Golf Course that was proposed through an application seeking different variances. Not changing the zoning, but they're putting on residential property proposed 1.5 million square feet of warehouse space. Election night is coming up. There's a bunch of buzz about the movement of people that are kind of helping change the school board election results so that the machine doesn't have the same power that they had, and suddenly a announcement of a emergency. Well, I don't know, emergency they call it. What is it called?
Special meeting. Yeah, special.
A special meeting of council on a Tuesday night. Council meets on Monday nights, and if they don't meet Monday, it's usually a Wednesday because there was a Monday holiday, like a President's Day or something along those lines. So everyone's like, "What is this about? What could this possibly be?" On election night, you're going to pull people away from. You're going to give them a choice. This is a playbook, thing that they do in this town. We'll schedule Board of Education meetings and council meetings on the same night, so you have to make a choice which one you'd like to go to. We'll schedule movie night with your family and a
council meeting.
A council meeting on the same night. So maybe there's no parking, and you can't go to both. You can't. There's. It's almost it's intentionally. The optics of it looks like it would be intentional to schedule these things, and that's kind of what we thought election night special meeting would be for the warehouse. I'm saying, what could it possibly be? Because the Wednesday following election night was supposed to be the continuation of the first part of the meeting, where everybody in town, I mean, there was hundreds of people there that sat through hours of meeting to be told at the end, no, sorry, folks, we're not continuing this. The public portion is the most important part that we hear, but we're not going to do it tonight. Yes, we told you if it starts before this time, you can continue, with your, the public portion here, but tonight we're not going to do it. And they were pushed off to to another day. So the meeting after that, we knew that the planning board as well had canceled their meeting, which then was somehow rescheduled for that. So now we have a council meeting to do this, whatever it is that they're doing, because they didn't tell us. Then that then goes to the planning board an hour later to be, run through the planning board, and then the following night was the zoning board. So I mean, you can you can speculate on that and say, what is this?
I don't get. I don't, and it didn't make sense either, because the thought was that this new meeting is going to come up, and what's going to happen is we found out that they were basically going to take this land ordinance from the way the state does it.
Well, that was found out later on, that they were going to adopt the land ordinance from what the state recommends guidelines around.
So, yeah, and then
I think at that point in time we thought, oh wow, okay, so that's actually I'm going to air quote, a win for the for the public, that we have to adopt these new, more strict guidelines for warehouses. Fast forward to the actual meeting, what took place, and I wasn't there, so it was just kind of, I'm hearing from other people, but what happened was the ordinance was amended, I guess is how it was. Either way, they adopted this state thing, but it does not pertain to anything that already has an application in. So if the application was already in, freeway golf course, the aerial behind the target, it doesn't apply to them. But what it does do is it makes it a little bit harder for the zoning board to then grant the variances for something like the freeway golf course. So it could be just that they're adopting that for future things, with the hopes of that it makes them look, like, hey, we're for you guys, I don't know what it is. It's really
a shame
strange.
too, because I guess it was kind of a victory lap online. So there's some of the people that thought, well, maybe they're bringing in the state stuff so that they can say no,
right,
to basically what is a pretty big pay-to-play vendor.
Yeah.
We talked about the machine and the favors that the machine gets back. We a couple of us thought that this change coming in was the way for the township to kind of cover themselves, so that they were protected, and say, look, we can't do it because the state says. But it turns out that we found out that
we're putting that in place, but we're not saying that.
Putting it in place, but by the way, those two that are already out there that we know about at Target and the freeway golf course.
We'll get you guys next time. This one's going to go through, but next
time.
We got you.
Those, no, we don't know if they're going to... I don't think they're going through, but they don't have to abide by. And I want to think one of the big things too on the state one was the difference in space.
Yeah, it had to have a 1,000-foot buffer between like a residential house or whatever to the to the building, where it's currently at 200 feet, I believe, is what the buffer is.
Yeah.
So the plans that they already drew up, so this particular application was first introduced to the township, and they applied back in 2020, August of 2020, and then they pulled it back for unknown reasons of why they pulled it back. So if you have been following along with this this project here, the studies that were done, for traffic, just say, they were saying there's no impact to traffic with the addition of this warehouse. And people were saying, it was done during the pandemic. Of course there's no traffic during that time. It wasn't busy at all. Now it's, post-pandemic, and traffic is back to, being ridiculous on Sicklerville Road. That's why those studies were done, because the applicant was going to do this 2 years ago, and it's kind of just come back out. They resubmitted around like June or July of 2022. And canceled. You guys know the story where they canceled a couple times, even though people were getting out, trying to get residents out. And the state guidelines that we just adopted were, from what it appears, it looks like they were only introduced around September of 2022. So the applicant they did already have their application in before these guidelines were even in existence. but we're still unsure as to why, November 8th, was it 9th or 8th was the election? Was it the
8th?
Yeah, so why November 8th needed to be the date that we emergency meeting to adopt this. So, but that's what happened.
So, is there any new date on the zoning meeting that everybody's so eager to
From
get back
what
into?
I understand, it was requested to be just at a later date. They were going to hold it, so it was taken off of the zoning board. I'm not sure if the entire meeting was canceled or if they just pulled that from the agenda on the Wednesday after there, but it did not happen yet, and I think it's just
Yeah, I believe there still was a meeting
in limbo. There's no rescheduled date put out there yet, but
so
it's
probably tonight.
It's probably tonight. Yeah.
So it's probably going to be. I think we're doing a Christmas thing over in the park.
Yeah, we'll probably do it that night.
It's probably going to be that night.
Yeah.
So when we find out more, we'll definitely
Yep.
cover it as soon as we possibly can, and let some folks know.
Yep.
So, anything else going on?
No, I'm tired. I think that's
No.
about it.
Yeah, we're about to hit an hour here. So, again, like the video, subscribe to the video. Nobody likes the video. People are starting to subscribe. Nobody ever likes them.
Yeah.
They
I don't
like
know.
us, but they don't like what we do. That's what it is. So like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel, and follow us on RestoredGT.com.
Yep.
Restore Gloucester Township on Facebook, at RestoredGT on Twitter, and that's about it for us, folks.
Yep.
We will
Thanks for tuning in.
council meeting on Monday.
Yep.
This coming Monday.
So we'll have some more recaps for you of what's going on.
Come out with us. It's a
Yeah.
blast.
I don't know about that.
It's not a blast, but
You will learn something.
you'll learn something. We'll go and we'll grab some food at Skeeter's probably afterwards,
Yeah.
and
Catch up. Nice to meet people.
especially if you got some interest in running, this is a great time to come out and just see what happens, and then talk to some of the folks that ran before, because they usually come out to meetings, and they also go out to Skeeter's sometimes afterwards.
I'll be there to shake your hand if you'd like to.
Shake the winner's hand. Yeah, it'll rub off for
Yeah, there you go.
for your run next year. So hopefully we see you guys on Monday. If not, we will cover Monday's meeting in a few days.
Yep.
And
We'll see
talk to you
guys
all
then.
soon.
Thanks.
Yep. See you later, folks.